freaking ignore that. Alright. Alright. This will probably be my second. This is my second stream today, but let's be serious. Let's get serious. Let's talk about this. So, I wasn't gonna make a Crash Bandicoot like video like ever, not ever again, but I wasn't gonna make one about. I wasn't planning on making one about Crash 3 like ever again. Neither was Crash 2 when I re-experienced it months back, or re-experienced months back, and I feel like this game and Crash 2 are really good examples of games my brain slash my perspective has changed on a lot, because ever since I got into so many different franchises, I wasn't really limiting myself to favorites. I wasn't really limiting myself. I was expanding my horizons by playing like Kirby or Mega Man or Donkey Kong or Wario, for example. There's so many examples I can think of, right? That I would legit be like, okay, I want to play those because I'm interested in, all that other sort of stuff. I want to do all that stuff, right? And going back to Crash 3, I yesterday, I'm going to start out with that, right? Yesterday, I started out with that idea where I want to 100% Crash Bandicoot 3, right? Because I didn't think 100% in Crash 3 was going to be difficult, because due to my past, I made Crash 1, 2, and 3 look like a joke whenever I played, because I mastered the games. Those were the first few set of games I have mastered. I have played religiously. It's one of the first games I've played like religiously, like nonstop for hours on end. I would always just constantly keep on playing. And I thought it would be a good time, so I decided, hey, I'm gonna go live playing Crash Bandicoot Warped. I'm gonna go live playing Crash Bandicoot 3. And I started playing. I was having somewhat level of fun. Chris was there laughing his ass off at what we were talking about, what Chat and I were talking about in that stream. And I thought things were going fine and dandy. But then I started to remember not only why I disliked the game, but I started thinking, like, why am I always trying to go back to an experience that I really do not need to be experiencing anymore? No, that has never happened to me. Danielle, to answer your question, that has never happened to me. I have played a game and gotten afraid, very scared, but that has not happened to me. But anyways, I thought it'd be a good idea to play, and again, it was. Until, again, I started thinking, I've played Crash 3 so many times. I've played Crash 2 so many times. I've done the Platinum Relics for all 3 of these games so many times. What is going to be so different about my playthrough? Right? On 105 or 106% in Crash Bandicoot 3. What's going to be different, Alan? You've done it so many times, religiously so many times. Obviously not on camera, but off camera. Because you just want to play at different times. No, to answer that dude's question. Madison, Daniel, Mario or Donkey Kong? I love them both. But, anyways. So yeah, I was, fuck man, I can't stop, I couldn't stop thinking about it during my entire stream I tried to do yesterday, where I just continuously sat there and was like, kind of wondering to myself, why am I doing this? Why is Crash 3's level design so shitty? for example, like obviously you guys know the vehicle levels. I've talked about this a million times on my channel, so that's why I don't like to. I'm trying my best not to repeat so much. What what I like to say. I try my best not to repeat so much, right? But but these are important things to repeat because you have your vehicle levels where you're on a vehicle and you need to win a race in order to get the crystal, or you need to hit all the blocks on the racetrack to get the gem and whatever. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Those levels can range from being annoying to pretty fun, I guess. But it's like, I don't know. I've done all of this so many times. I've 100% of the games all the time. Because obviously, when I got into Crash Bandicoot, and I kept playing Crash Bandicoot to get myself better and better and better and better and better and better and better, obviously, playing Crash Bandicoot casually wasn't an option. So every time I would replay, I would always replay to get all the gems. All the paths were memorized, all that stuff. And these were the games I first took pride in terms of beating. But nowadays, whenever I think about trying to play these games like Crash 1, 2, and 3, that isn't a casual experience. Because going for 100%, in my opinion, in Crash Bandicoot games are just not worth it anymore. Like, my brain has kind of shifted into a state of mind where, I don't know. I feel like Crash Bandicoot to me is so old in my mind that I don't even want to think about playing it anymore. Not the franchise, but at least Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3, and 4 for different reasons that I've made a video on prior if you want to see that. Street Fighter or Tekken. I like both, but I'm not good at both. But I grew up more on Tekken than Street Fighter, at least to my knowledge, to my more recent memory. I'm going to subscribe. Thank you, Madison. I appreciate that. Subscribe. But again, I remember just Crash Bandicoot 3 on my stream that night, that morning, not really going all that well. I had so many, like, changes in my mind and so many things I was thinking in my mind, like so much BS in-game that was going on, but also so much BS in my head because it was just kind of me sitting there, like, almost reliving, like, my old... It almost felt like I was playing... It almost felt like I was reliving my old memories. Like, getting so frustrated, getting so angry at the game, and, thinking this game's the best. And now it's like I have a completely different mindset. Crash Bandicoot 3 is still a great platformer. But in my opinion, since I've played it so many times, I feel like that thought process of it being great gets diminished, because not only I already thought out of all three of the games, Crash Bandicoot 3 was the worst of the three because of how it doesn't focus on more platforming. It focuses on different challenges like racing challenges and stuff to break up the platforming more than the actual platforming itself, and the time trials and all that other sort of crap. Like, it's like, it's all such old fucking news. I've done it so many times, man. Like, going this way to get the yellow gem, going that way to get the red gem, going this way to get the box gem, going the normal path for the crystal gem. It's so fucking boring. Nothing's exciting. I've heard all the same music tracks over 100 times, which I still love the OST to this day, but still, I've heard it 100 times. I know how Crash feels. I've experienced the love of how Crash moves, like slide jumping, Death Tornado spinning everywhere, using the speed shoes to actually have some run to it, so I can do a sliding jump or Death Tornado spin to reach far distances. The Wampa Bazooka, I've shot it at so many crates so many times. I shot it to try and hit the clock sometimes on Platinum Relics so I can be a little quicker on my times. I've done the massive, I've done the work. I've gotten all the Platinum Relics in Crash Bandicoot before, I've even made whole skits dedicated to me, getting all the Platinums in Insane Trilogy, and Crash 4 got all the Platinums. But those are some funny skits. Y'all should watch those if you love Crash Bandicoot and all that stuff. If you like Crash, try Conker's Bad Fur Day. I have played Conker's Bad Fur Day, and that game is great. Kind of wish there was a real follow-up to it, though. I played it a very long time ago, like 3-4 years ago. I have a video on it, actually, and I think a gameplay video on Conker's Bad Fur Day. I have a gameplay and my experience on it, so check that out if you really like, if you want to hear my thoughts on, way more of my thoughts on Conker's Bad Fur Day. and what I think of the gameplay and all that other sort of stuff and whatnot. Hey, ooga booga, Lucas. Ooga booga. Ooga booga, doom, 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 doom. Ooga booga. Gucci Gucci. Hey, ooga booga, doom, 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 doom. I always love that freaking shit when you break Aku crates in Crash Bandicoot games, ooga booga. And yeah, it's like, I couldn't stop myself from just being reminded of those old experiences and being reminded that I've done this before. I've been here before. I know the story. I know the implications if I lose. I played the game to death, practically. And it's my fault for playing it and loving it so much to the point now I just can't tolerate them anymore. Like, all the stuff that's good about these games, I still think are good. But everything that I think is bad, it's I don't want to experience really that much anymore, or I kind of just, over time I've been losing tolerance for that kind of gameplay. Like, for example, I need to fight against the camera. I've played these games before. I said I've played these games before. Yeah. I've played these games before. And yeah, I know I'm repeating myself a lot in this video, but think about it, right? For so many years of your life, you go over and you fight the Crash Bandicoot camera for boxes you missed on the main path. When you took that certain other route, the gem route or whatever. I had to fight the camera to backtrack for boxes in Crash Bandicoot 2. Oh, look, I have to be in a vehicle. No, I'm raging. I'm agreeing. I've played these games before, too. I gotcha. Yeah, and they're pretty rage-inducing time, especially some of the race levels. Oh, if you ever done the platinum for Hog Ride, where you have to basically wheelie the entire freaking thing, I still remember that. That's still in my head, from time to time. And it wasn't even good for me, and I was thinking, you know what? I'm grateful that these games, I was able to experience them. I was able to love them in the time that I really did love Crash 1, 2, and 3. But I think my brain has shifted so far from that I would much rather go play like Donkey Kong Country 1, Donkey Kong Country 2, Donkey Kong Country 3. I would rather play Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 over Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3 any goddamn day. DKC 1, yeah. DK2, DK3. Yeah, I would love to play. I'd much rather play those, like on the NES, the Super Nintendo, or Nintendo Switch Online with emulation, or whip up my tablet and play those on emulator all the way through over Crash Bandicoot 1. Yeah. Because and it's kind of funny, but this is how I always thought about it. When I played Crash Bandicoot Warped, alright, bye, fuck y'all. Oh, okay, I was gonna say, what's up for real once again, but alright. That was weird, but anyways, as I was saying, yeah, I remember I would treat Crash Bandicoot 3 and be like, I look at the game and then I play Donkey Kong and I'm like, why does Donkey Kong feel like Nintendo's Crash Bandicoot, but like in a completely 2D space? Why does Donkey Kong give me that vibe that he is like Crash Bandicoot, but he's not Crash Bandicoot? He's obviously a different animal. But the point is like his gameplay really reminds me of Crash Bandicoot with the 106% completions, hard-ass levels. It's a platform video game, but except one's like 3D in linear hallways, the other one's 2D in linear hallways, like level design. And I'm like, you know what? I would just, and it's not even just DKC I would play over. I would literally play anything over it because I'm looking at its level design for Crash 3, specifically for this video, and I'm just like, backtracking for shit that is so monotonous, so stupid to do, that I looked at it when going for the red gem and stuff, colored gems, and I looked at it, I'm like, that's stupid. Why did I spend my time going for that when I was younger? Why did I put up with so much bullshit, back then? With Crash Bandicoot 3 and dealing with the shit. Obviously, it's nowhere near Crash 4 level. Crash 4 is a entirely different beast. But, I have to ask these questions, like, Wergy is the other boy. You look like Luffy plush. Yeah, I got a lot of plushies back here. I got, like, Luffy, I got Mario, I got Saitama, Link, Ryuko over here that you can't barely see. I might talk about Killer Kill again sometime, but I got a lot of characters up here. I don't know why DK fell, but I got a lot of characters I have up here. But you're only seeing, like, a certain portion of my closet, not the entire thing. If you want to see, like, the entire closet, what I have, then there is an entire Alric CTM's, like, toy/plush video game collection video for you. I have a whole playlist dedicated for it on here. But anyways, Crash 3 made me ask these questions to myself when playing. What am I doing here? Why did I waste so much time here? Why am I going through this again, knowing that my opinion on the game isn't really changing? Matter of fact, it's changing, but it's more for the worse. Like, for example, when I said Crash 2 was my favorite Crash game, now it's one of my least played games / least likely to go back to because I've played it so much. And not only that, but it's like some of the level design in there, I would argue that's a bit much in comparison to something else that I would rather put up with. I don't know. I think it's like a mix of tolerance and a mix of change in my mindset and perspective. I think that's why I can't enjoy Crash 3 nowhere near as much, right? It's like my brain's changed. I'm wired to different things in comparison to like Crash 3. It was a good game for its time, but for me, it's just not my thing anymore. Maybe when Crash 5 comes back, I'll be more into it, but hopefully I'll be more into it. But, in that one Crash fan game, I loved that one. That made me want to come back to the Crash Bandicoot franchise. That's why Crash Bandicoot Purple got a REexperience. And I enjoyed Crash Bandicoot Purple more than I ever saw like 2-3 years ago, I enjoyed it so much. But anyways, I digress. I don't want to waste too much time talking about this because I feel like I'm repeating the same points and why I don't like the game. I just don't like the game even more now because, again, I not abused this game, but I abused, like, playing this game. I would play only this game, and it'd be in my head all the time, and, which was good at the time because I was like, I loved Crash. It's a game that I would just go in and just beat the shit out of all the time. Crash Bandicoot 3, I would always just go in. Even if it was my least liked game, I would still go in there because I loved Crash Bandicoot so much as a franchise / an IP that Crash 3, I would just go in there and destroy the time trials, the 100% completion, getting all the boxes, getting all the gems. I would do all that. But, it's kind of like, to what point, to what avail, that you would do it again and again in the more nowadays setting. You got other games to play, man. You got other things to do. You got other games to review. That's more important than reviewing this one, You got anime to review. You got other things in your life, man. Crash is old. I would rather play Punch-Out for the Wii. At least that is a newer experience for you, Even though a lot of people will probably tell me that you should probably drop the Punch-Out series, my guy, because, Punch-Out ain't coming back. I have a lot of other things that I could love, and it's just Crash 3 just isn't one of those things I really love all that much anymore, But anyways, I digress. Guys, let me know what you guys think of Crash Bandicoot 3. Is it your favorite game? Is it your least favorite game out of the trilogy? What is your perspective on Crash Bandicoot 3? Anyways, like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share with your friends. God bless you all. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Oh, and I'll do another stream, but it will be like later in the day. Need to relax my voice for a bit.